day inside this New York cabaret. But nothing could prepare me for that being 23.
Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to Krysten Ritter. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am doing well. You're obviously here for the movie Big Eyes, which opens on December 25th. What do you do for the holiday then? I know you're promoting the movie and you've got stuff going, but if you can't get back home to the family, what do you do for the holidays then?
I will. Well, last year I went home, but this year I guess I'm just going to skip Christmas. No, I don't know. I will probably hang out with whoever of my friends is in town, Los Angeles. I always go see a movie on Christmas.
Right.
That's like a tradition that I have.
Which you could go see Big Eyes, but you're in it and you know it, so I think you'd go see something else. But everyone else should go and see Big Eyes on Christmas.
Well, my friends and my man should see it, so maybe I'll have to go and just like wear a hoodie or something. Or like sneak out and just eat popcorn.
Because all you need is TMZ or somebody spotting you going into your own movie and like, oh, she's really into herself.
Yeah. Well, also it's like really awkward watching yourself, and then you're worried that other people can see you and you're making funny faces. It's not pleasant.
Big Eyes is the movie. It's a Tim Burton movie.
Yeah. Which
when I saw it, looked nothing like a Tim Burton movie. It was like an adult version of Tim Burton.
Totally. It's a dramatic biopic, which I love biopics. I love nonfiction. I love documentaries.
And I had no idea about that until going into this. Because that was before my time. But
same.
It was really interesting to find out that this was all real.
It's all real. I had no idea all that fraud was behind these images. When I first saw the paintings, it felt familiar. I was like, oh yeah, I know those. Oh yeah, it's the little kid with the big eyes. You feel familiar because it's been ingrained into our subconscious somehow because it was so mass produced.
Right.
But I certainly didn't know the story behind it. And it's frustrating that she couldn't take credit for her own work only 50 years ago.
Also in the movie is Amy Adams, who plays Margaret Keane, and Christoph Waltz, who's amazing, playing Walter Keane. Now, I read somewhere that, and also after seeing the movie and seeing how he portrayed Walter, I don't think Christoph was crazy enough. Based on everything I read about what Walter really did and how he really was, how Christoph was portraying him in the movie seemed a little toned down compared to all the writings about Walter going crazy. I
think they toned down or showed less of the courtroom scene where everything, like the big climax of the movie. I think that his portrayal is so fantastic. He is so good at playing these maniacal but likable characters because he's so charismatic himself. It's interesting. All of his characters are just they're larger than life.
Right.
And Christoph in real life isn't really, he's really acting. He's not a larger than life guy from what I've seen. He's very, very smart and just an intellectual guy. And then it's fun to see him kind of go nuts with these characters.
Right. I don't want this to be misinterpreted, but I wanted him to go further. There was a scene, which I won't give away too many of the details, but there was a scene where he's coming after Margaret, we'll say, right? I thought it was going to go much darker than it did.
I was scared.
When she went into the room and locked the door, I thought he was going to do more to her than he did. Oh, okay. I'll put it that way.
So you wanted to see like Big Eyes? I didn't
want to see like that, but I thought he was going to.
Right.
And because the way he portrayed it as he was coming down the hall, how he slammed the glass on the table, I thought it was going to lead to some darker things. And not that the stuff that happened wasn't dark, but I was just like, wow, I thought it was going to go a little further, and it did. And it was actually kind of nice to see that it didn't go that far. Because usually in that kind of a situation, the guy does something to a girl. You hear that constantly, especially during those times where it was unreported and what have you. But yeah, he really sucks you into you forget he's Christoph Waltz, especially during the court scene when he's pretty much a comic book character at that point. Because all his legal experience is based off watching the old Perry Mason show, but he's overacting and he's mugging for the jury, and the judge has nothing of it.
Yeah, and then he's getting on the stand, and then he's jumping around and
he's just bragging about all the celebrities he knows, and it's like, who cares? This is you're going to lose everything in a matter of minutes.
And he just sits there, and he's like, "Oh, I hurt my shoulder." It's funny. I laughed a lot. I think that's a nice surprise in the movie too. So it gets a lot of laughs. I laughed a lot when I sing it. And then also I saw it with a big group of people, and people were enjoying the film.
Did you seek this part, or was it somebody say this might be something that you should go for? Did somebody come to you about it?
Well, it's a combination of the two. I had been very vocal about wanting to work with Tim, and so my agents finally called me. They're like, okay, there's this great script. You have an appointment. It's Tim. They explained it to me. And I auditioned. So I got the role in like the regular way that actors get roles. It wasn't anything. I didn't get offered the part. I had to actually like audition and fight for it.
Well, let me ask you this then, based on what you just said, that you really wanted to work with Tim. I don't imagine there's a lot of people that would not want to work with Tim Burton. But were you maybe just a hint of disappointment that it wasn't going to be like a regular Tim Burton movie where you would be sort of like something kind of cartoonish but dark?
No, I don't have time for that, dude. I was so excited to be in a movie and get a call that Tim's casting me in a movie, so there wasn't a moment of disappointment.
No,
like,
I'm just saying based on his history of work, he usually has stuff like that. Were you thinking it was going to be something like that? And because, like I said earlier, this was a completely different portrayal than Tim Burton's used to doing.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's exciting. Like, oh, you're going to do something, Tim's trying something new and you get to be a part of it.
Okay.
So, yeah, I sort of, I just tend to look at things in a bit more positive light.
The movie is Big Eyes that we're talking about. It comes out on December 25th. Jason Schwartzman's also in the movie.
Jason's in it,
and
who I just worked with on Listen Up Philip as well.
It was a brilliant performance by Jason Schwartzman, just being very calm, very subtle, and then just really stabbing comments without being over the top.
Yeah.
As far as what he was saying to Walter.
Yeah, Jason's one of my favorite human beings in this whole industry. He's like my favorite actor I've spent time with.
Have you seen him in the show that...
Bored to Death?
No, the one for Amazon, Mozart in the Jungle?
Is he in that?
Yeah, he plays a podcaster that interviews Malcolm McDowell.
Oh, when did you see the pilot?
I saw the first 4 episodes.
Oh, well, you're at press, so you get to see it. It's not out yet.
Because I talked with Saffron Burrows.
Oh.
And the interview for the launch for that. And he's in one of the episodes there. He plays what's misinterpreted as a big-time news interviewer, and he's really a podcaster.
Oh my God, I can't wait to see it. Yeah, I think I've been doing press with him all week, so I know that his show comes out December 23rd. But I'm excited to see it. I know he's very proud of it and writing and producing Amazon. Amazon has, Transparent right now, which is one of my favorite shows.
Another amazing show. A lot of these cool things are coming to these online streaming services.
Yeah.
And you got one coming up soon, next year, for Netflix with AKA Jessica Jones. This was great to hear, but it was also a little confusing because I know a lot about the comic book world, but Jessica Jones kind of blindsided me. I was like, I really don't know what the character is about.
Well, that's I guess what's so exciting.
It is, because it was like, all right, they're not rehashing another popular character again. They're digging deep and finding new and interesting properties to explore.
She's a very interesting, complex character, and I'm excited that I get to originate her.
Without giving anything away, obviously.
I don't want to spoil it.
Did you start production yet, or is it starting?
Soon.
Soon, okay. So there's also not a release date that has been mentioned yet, but it's sometime in 2015 for AKA Jessica Jones, which is a Marvel property. Woo! Is there anything you could at least tell me about the character, like for people who don't know? I can't imagine. Were you two up on Jessica Jones when you got the part? Like, did you have to go do research?
I did research.
Yeah.
I first read like a couple of scenes. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck is this?
Right.
I want to do this.
Tell me at least who she is. Is she a detective? Is she a superhero?
So I believe, I just don't know what I'm allowed to say. And I'm scared.
Okay.
I'm not 100% clear on like what is officially out there already. And I just don't want to piss anybody off.
Okay.
You could what?
You could read the comics,
I guess.
read
the comic.
All right.
Read Jessica Jones, or just wait for the show and wait to see me do it. I don't know.
Can you talk about the casting for the show at least? Who else is cast with you?
That's even more top secret.
Wow.
Yeah.
The mystery just keeps getting bigger.
But
and
it's
bigger.
announced that I'm doing it. So
well, that's all we know. I mean,
that's all we know.
I knew you were coming in, and then that happened about a week ago. The announcement. I was like, oh, this is great. We can tie into both.
I could say that I'm very excited. That for me, it's like a dream role. And she's fucking rad.
Maybe we can go this direction then. Did you grow up reading comic books or know anything about superheroes? Or is that part of your childhood at all?
It was not a part of my childhood, and I wish that I had somebody in my life that would have exposed me to things like that, because I'm having such a blast researching.
You didn't have that background or that part of your life. Is it still now amazing to you that you get to be part of the comic book world.
Yes, being a part of the Marvel universe is, I mean, it's mind-blowing, as pedestrian as that sounds. It's such a giant thing, and it has such a huge following and a giant fan base. And it's just how everything's intricately like woven, and it's just a whole world exists. And you know, their movies pretty great.
Yeah, they do a good job.
Well.
And you're in the Disney family now too, which is really cool. And from your time with Breaking Bad, I'm sure you've experienced this, or at least seen it. I don't know if you've ever gone to any kind of convention, Comic-Con or something like that,
you know,
where people still dress up as right. Jane. You're going to have next year, if this comes out before San Diego or before New York Comic-Con, you're going to start seeing people dress up as your Jessica Jones character.
I mean, it's pretty nuts. I feel like with Jane on Breaking Bad, and even Chloe from Don't Trust the Bee, like people like dress up with these characters for Halloween and things like that, and come up to me all the time. So to like have to be playing another character that I'm just so proud of and excited about. And feels.
Do you take that as a compliment, or do you take it kind of weird when people will dress up and emulate the characters that you play?
A high compliment that a character that I've been lucky enough to play has resonated with somebody else. I mean, it's so cool.
Well, now you're going to have two, because Jane was huge. Speaking of Jane, they came out with a whole line of these Breaking Bad toys that got removed from Toys R Us.
I don't really know anything about that.
The toy line came out. It was pretty cool, but they removed him from Toys R Us because of the implications that he's selling meth and what have you, which is ridiculous, because then you see Freddy and Jason, all these horror creatures there on the same shelves at Toys R Us, but they leave them who are killing people, but they pull Pinkman.
Freddy and Jason have toys at Toys R Us and Breaking Bad.
Oh, yeah, by NECA Toys. There are these nice sculptures and everything.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're in that same row where the Breaking Bad figures used to be, but Toys R Us pulled them.
I wonder why.
Because too much fake outrage over the fact that they were meth dealers.
But what about Freddy and Jason? They murder people.
That's exactly what I was saying, but nobody cared. They were just upset because Walter White and Jesse Pinkman were meth dealers.
Oh, what a bummer.
Right. So they pull the toys. And what I'm getting at with this is that everybody got a toy on this show. Even Gus, with his face half off, has a figure that Funko made. Like you see half his face and the other half is gone.
Oh, that was such a great scene.
But they didn't make any Jane toys. No Apology Girl stuff.
Oh, I don't even know anything about it.
I was going to ask you if that upset you that everyone else got a toy but you.
Well, I didn't even know what was happening until you just told me.
Well, you need to find out now.
I didn't have time to get upset about it.
You need to have the next exclusive at Comic-Con or something where it's the the Jane/Apology Girl toy. And then you can sign and it'll be worth lots of money on eBay.
Done.
And then also, if you can work it in, you need to get a Jessica Jones figure too.
Done.
Because that's going to be a really cool avenue. If you can.
I'm excited.
Last question before you go. I was looking through your Twitter at Krysten Ritter and your Instagram, The Real Krysten Ritter, because I'm sure somebody else got Krysten Ritter on Instagram.
That's not. Unfortunately, I signed up as Krysten Ritter. And then I decided to close my account because they were doing this thing a while ago. It was years ago now. But they're like, oh, Instagram's going to own all your pictures. And my publicist told me to quit. So I did.
Yeah.
And then that went away.
It turned out to be false.
And then I signed back up and they wouldn't give me my name back.
Well, you're a celebrity. Somebody should get you verified and all that
Dear
stuff.
Instagram.
But anyway,
can I have my name back, please?
Your Twitter account. I noticed something on there. Did you do, or somebody drew some artwork of you in comic book style with the caption, "Tall slut, no panties"?
That's from Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23.
Okay. So that was a great piece of artwork too.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, I was like, wow, because I didn't recognize
There's
it from the show.
There's a lot of it too. That was like it was a big story.
But it seems to be a big
show.
collector's item.
Yeah. I have a giant poster in my office. It's really cool. It's called Shitagi Nashi, which is like fiction, but it's a huge Japanese comic book. Very big in Japan.
Well, if I find one of these next time, I'm going to bring it and see if you can sign it. I'll frame it on the wall.
They're pretty cool.
Thank you so much for your time. Krysten Ritter on Twitter, The Real Krysten Ritter on Instagram, and the movie, of course, is Big Eyes, which opens on December 25th of this year. And look for next year when she's on Netflix with AKA Jessica Jones.
Thanks so much for having me. Yeah, it was nice to see you again.